This is a time of choosing. So let us choose the truth. Let us choose America. Today is a day to call to action with your voice, with your power, with your vote. Come November, we will vote in record numbers, and we can do it. It's within your power to do it. Are you ready? Are you ready to defend democracy? Are you ready to protect our freedoms? And are you ready to win this election?
Happy Saturday, everyone. Out of your Saturday to come here about Once on the Line, how we win in 2024, and how you can join us to fight for the soul of the nation again. Now, I know you guys have heard that a few times now, but we are in a fight for the soul of our nation, and what's on the line honestly couldn't be more urgent. So I'm here to tell a little bit of a story to explain to you why I'm here. And candidly, I remember June 24th, 2022 so vividly. I woke up, I had so many video calls back to back with states about how organizers were hitting the ground for a weekend of action. We were just a few weeks out from 100 days out from 2022's election day, and there was a lot going on in the states. So I was hyped to be doing my job, so hyped that I was back to back, blew through push notifications, ignored so many missed calls on my phone. So sometime in the afternoon, I went to take my dog out, opened the door, let her out, picked up my phone and clicked on Instagram, and immediately saw the first story. The Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade. And I could feel my stomach just churn with fury, because this is exactly what Trump worked to do in office, and he did it. As I kept reading, a snippet from the decision really stood out. Clarence Thomas writes in a concurring opinion that the Supreme Court should reconsider Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell, the ruling that now protect contraception, same-sex relationships, and same-sex marriage. And as my stomach churned, another memory swung up. June 27th, 2015, I was in San Francisco. I was there for Pride. It was days after Obergefell went live. And when I walked down Market Street from the Ferry Building in the march, I saw a little brown girl with beautiful dark curls and curious dark eyes thrust her rainbow flag in the air. Now, her dad was standing right behind her. There was a crowd of people, and he looked a lot like my uncles and my dad did growing up. His eyes were tight with anxiety as he watched the crowd. He watched like a hawk to make sure his kid was walking through the crowd safely. But when his daughter held her hand up for a high five for me, I saw his shoulders slump and he relaxed, just ever so slightly. And she chirped when she looked at me and her eyes met mine. "You look exactly like I do." And I couldn't help but smile. When she started to walk away, she turned around and she waved and called out, "Happy Pride, love is love." When I was her age, I cannot imagine feeling that much pride. And my chest swelled in that moment, that so many little girls would be living in a world where they could be free to be their full selves, love whoever they loved, and just be. But on June 24th, 2022, so much of that changed forever with Dobbs. And this year we have even more on the line than we did in 2020. Donald Trump has threatened a nationwide abortion ban from day one of his presidency. He's threatened to repeal the Affordable Care Act, rip away healthcare from millions of Americans. He's embraced some of the most dangerous elements of their party, such as denying free and fair elections, siding with the insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol and attacked law enforcement on January 6th. He's supported banning books and has chosen the NRA over public safety in the face of so many tragedies. And honestly, it's really, really scary to think about. But I can't help but remember that little girl's deep need to high five me at Pride. I can't remember or forget how joyful I felt in that moment, and that it mattered so much that someone who looked like her could love whoever they loved, that we could just be. And that smile still stands out to me. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are fighting for just that. A country where people are free to choose who they love, where people are free to choose who and what they read, where people are free to vote without fear, free to choose a better life with roads and transit, choose a world with unfettered broadband access, a home without fear that their pipes will have lead, are free to choose their doctors without fear of astronomical medical bills, and where people are free to choose to learn and achieve without deep anxiety about student loans. This administration has fought for our freedoms and fights every single day to make sure we have choices and the freedom to make these choices, while Donald Trump continues to fearmonger and continues to take away our rights. But you know what else I remember? On June 24th, 2022, after I saw that Instagram story, I walked into my favorite coffee shop, still sick to my stomach, after reading the Dobbs decision end to end. And Sherry, the owner, who knows my dogs, knows my partner, knows me so well, looked me in the eye, said, "Put your money away. We keep fighting today." Fighting for what you believe in is an act of hope. Showing up for your neighbors, talking to voters, choosing to roll up your sleeves is an act of hope. And we have an opportunity to do that again this year, to fight for our freedoms, our ability to choose how to live, who to love, and to do so together. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Davy Harris, who has been fighting for us her entire career, and the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff of the United
Greetings,
States.
everyone. Greetings, everyone. It is so good to be with you today. And thank you all for your unwavering support and for everything you do for our nation.
In 2020, motivated by your optimism, determination, and love of country, you showed up to vote. And you made sure your friends, family members, coworkers, and neighbors showed up too. And it's because of your work that Joe Biden is President of the United States and that Kamala Harris is the first woman to be Vice President of the United States.
Your work helped us cap the cost of insulin for our seniors at $35 a month, cancel nearly $138 billion in student loan debt for almost 4 million Americans, and invest hundreds of billions of dollars in our entrepreneurs and small business owners. And I could go on.
Over the past 3 years, we've accomplished so much. Every day, President Biden and Vice President Harris fight for the people, while other so-called leaders only fight for themselves. Case in point, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump openly talks about his intention to weaponize the Department of Justice against his enemies. He openly says that he is, quote, proud that he overturned Roe versus Wade, proud that he took the freedom of choice from millions of women in America. He openly talks about his admiration for dictators, and he has vowed that he will be a dictator on day one.
And across our nation, extremists who have been encouraged and incited by the former president attack our most hard-fought and hard-won freedoms.
The freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from the horror of gun violence, the freedom to be who you are and love who you love openly and with pride, and the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body, not the government telling her what to do. In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a country of liberty, freedom, and rule of law, or a country of disorder, fear, and hate?
Each of us has the power to answer these questions at the ballot box. So this election, we need all of you to energize, organize, and mobilize.
We need your help to re-elect Joe Biden and me. President Biden is a leader who has a bold vision for our future, both domestically and globally, and who has the strength, skill, determination, and compassion to make that vision real. Together with our president, we will fight, and when we fight, we win. Take care.
Goodbye, everyone.
Couldn't have put it better from our vice president and the second gentleman. I'm so excited to introduce y'all here to our director of Battleground States, who's going to walk us through exactly how we win and exactly how we fight in our path to victory in 2024. Dan, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Cannon, the Battleground Director for the campaign. Thank you so much for being here today. We are fired up to re-elect President Biden and Vice President Harris. What Joe Biden has accomplished during his first term is historic, it's popular, and it's made a real difference in people's lives. As we heard him outline on Thursday night, and what a great job he did Thursday night, he's running because we have more to do for the American people. This president is fighting every day to rebuild the middle class and to create an economy that rewards work and not just wealth. He has helped create nearly 15 million new jobs, including 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. Unemployment is nearly the lowest level in 50 years. And at a time when our country is deeply divided, his strong experience has allowed him to work across the aisle to get things done for the American people. He signed the first major federal legislation to address gun violence prevention in decades. He took the strongest action on climate change in our nation's history. He cracked down on junk fees that hurt consumers. He has fulfilled his promise to restore the soul of the nation and brought back America's standing and credibility. President Biden stood up to Vladimir Putin, and he is steadfast in his support of democracy in Ukraine and democracies all over the world. He signed the legislation to reauthorize the Violence Against Women Act and hosted the first White House conference on hunger, nutrition, and health in over 50 years. This is a record of delivering, and it's why Team Biden-Harris has a strong and diverse coalition that fueled Democratic victories in 2020, in 2022, and again in 2023. And that coalition will fuel victories again this year. Time and again, the president has shown he has the support, strong support, among Black, Latino, AANHPI communities, white working class voters, suburban voters, and 1/3 of Democratic voters in 2022 were voters of color. Women, in particular, pushed Democrats over the top with a 4-point increase in support among non-college white women in 2022. And his strength with suburban voters has stayed consistent. Democrats have gained votes from Republicans and independents, all those swing voters. So now I'd like to share a bit about how we are thinking about the coming year. As we enter the general election, we have a clear path to victory through a number of swing states, critical swing states. Looking at our electoral map, we see states and regions of this country that are as diverse as America itself. And that diversity is the strength of this country and the strength of our candidates and of our coalition. So we're going to push that strength this year. At the core of those pathways are 3 key regions of the country: the blue wall states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, western battlegrounds like Nevada and Arizona, and southern states like Georgia and North Carolina. The great news is, and remember this, in 2022, Democrats won statewide elections in all of these states. So we have a strong foundation to build from as we go into the fall. We are also shoring up support in our base electoral states and expanding the map in places like Colorado, Florida, Maine, Minnesota, Nebraska, too, New Hampshire, Texas, and Virginia. We believe that supporters in every state, from New York to California, are going to play a key role in supporting our campaign's work in all the key battlegrounds. And so I'm proud of our robust grassroots team. It's reaching out to voters, that team, where they are, both online and offline, and doing great work to engage the electorate and communities wherever they are. President Biden is counting on all of you to win what we know will be a very close race, and it will be a close race. But this operation has been powered by record-breaking grassroots fundraising, and that operation is driven by strong enthusiasm amongst all of our supporters, like you on this call today, which is why we're so excited to ramp up this March month of action and a kickoff to the general election. And here's what you'll see from us and the campaign across the country this month. Our amazing state leadership teams on the ground in these core battleground states have experience running and winning elections in all these pivotal states, some of the best and most experienced operatives in the country. A cutting-edge organizing program is going to empower volunteers to influence voters, both online and in person, to turn out the vote for Dems up and down the ballot. And we're opening more than 100 campaign offices in battleground states over this month. We're holding events with the president, with the vice president, the first lady, the second gentleman, and dozens of campaign surrogates across the country. We need you to join us. We need you on board. No matter where you live or how you want to take action, there is a place for you in our campaign. And there's lots of opportunities for you to have an impact and to make a difference. Your involvement is crucial to re-electing President Biden and re-electing Vice President Harris. So we'd love for you to tell us, how can you join this campaign and how do you want to take that action? To tell us, join this survey link right here, joebiden.com/survey. joebiden.com/survey, or just click it on your phone if you're watching on a mobile device right now. So thank you all. Let's go win this election, and back to you, Ruhi.
Thank you, Dan. Our path to victory is going to require each and every one of us to join in, and we're so excited to learn more about how you're going to. But first, we want everyone on this call today to stay in the loop with our campaign. And one way you can do that is to sign up to receive text updates from Julie Chavez Rodriguez, our campaign manager, about events that are happening in your area, exclusive content to share online, breaking updates, and more. So if you'd like to get live text updates from Julie Chavez Rodriguez and stay close to our campaign, open your phone's camera now and scan the QR code on the screen. Or if you're on a laptop, visit joebiden.com/updates. We're going to give you one more moment to sign up. If you got your phone handy, this is going to be a critical way for us to get you the most up-to-date information about our campaign. Open your phone's camera and scan the QR code on the screen. Or if you're on a laptop, go to joebiden.com/updates. We can't wait to keep you close and share more about all the ways you can get involved from Julie Chavez Rodriguez, our campaign manager. Now, it is my absolute pleasure to take you straight into a field office in Milwaukee and introduce Genevieve Vessel, who's going to tell us a little bit more about what brought her into organizing and to this campaign. Over to you, Genevieve.
Thank you so very much, Ruhi. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here today. It is powerful to see so many people here driven by hope, progress, and a belief in the power of change as we move towards the general election. My name is Genevieve Vessel, and I'm an immigrant from Jamaica. I'm also an educator, and I became actively involved with the Democratic Party of Wisconsin when I noticed the slow but steady drift into an alternate reality with alternate facts, commonly known as lies, from Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. Since then, we have seen Republicans roll back our freedoms. Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, and women are being blocked from accessing IVF as a result. We have seen Trump try to stop the peaceful transfer of power and even refuse to say he wouldn't do the same thing again. As a result, here I am, trying to do all that I can to ensure that democracy prevails in this land of the free and this home of the brave. Because we all know it will be under threat if Trump returns to power. As a field organizer, I have been high traffic canvassing at grocery stores, knocking on doors, and hosting house parties to meet people where they are. The message is clear, it's crystal clear. Voters want a fair and representative democracy that has their interests at heart. In 2020, we made a choice for compassion, empathy, and unity by electing Joe Biden as our president. President Biden has shown us that leadership is not just about power, but it is about service. Service to every American, regardless of background or belief. Our diversity is our strength, and our shared future requires all of us working together. Today, we stand at a pivotal moment, a time to reflect on our journey and to look forward with determination. It's time to finish this job. Together, we can create a brighter, more inclusive America, one that reflects the ideals we all hold dear. Our voices matter. Each volunteer and each vote shapes the direction of this nation. All of us have different reasons for being in this virtual room today, but we know that we must do everything to re-elect President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Democrats up and down the ballot. We know we must do that this fall. The stakes have never been higher, and I was thrilled to join floaters at the Women for Biden launch last week to get women to volunteer and to go assiduously for this election. Together, we have the power to create change. Here in Wisconsin, it always comes down to just a few votes per ward. Our volunteers' work was crucial in 2020 and will once again be vital this year. We need you to knock doors, mobilize your network, and get out the vote. Let us know how you want to get involved. You can do this at joebiden.com/survey. I repeat, joebiden.com/survey. Our work starts today, folks, and we can't wait to see you there. Remember, we can't do this without you. Thank you all very much. Now back over to you, Rohi.
Thank you, Genevieve. Thank you so much. We're so excited to have you organizing in Wisconsin, and we're hyped to go and hear from the two who started it all, the Vice President and the First Lady of the United States, or the President and the First Lady of the United States are on the line, and I'm excited to toss it to the First Lady now. Over to you.
Thank you, Ruhi. It's great to be with all of you on this call today. What a big week. With so many of you, we launched Women for Biden-Harris because when our bodies are on the line and when our daughters' futures are at stake, when our country and its freedom hang in the balance, women are immovable and unstoppable. Women put Joe Biden in the White House, and women are going to do it again because we know what's at stake. And Thursday night at the State of the Union, Joe gave a strong speech with a clear vision, and I'm so proud of him. I know talking to strangers isn't always fun, and I can think of a lot of other great ways you could be spending your Saturday. But you're here anyway, and that matters. It matters so much. Make no mistake, elections are won in moments like these. They're won in conversations between neighbors. They're won in the dozens of phone calls to people who don't pick up, and the fraction who do. They're won in coffee shops and churches and driveways by people like you showing up. Joe is the face of this campaign, but you are its strength. You are its feet. You make it run. So even though it's many months away, I want you to start now. I want you to go out and tell your friends about the enormous stakes of this election and how close the election will be here. And then I want you to remember what it felt like on the morning after that 2016 election when we fell short. Remember that feeling, how you woke up and you said to yourself, "Oh my God, what just happened?" We cannot let that happen again, because I don't want to wake up with that feeling again, like, oh, we should have started earlier or we should have done more. No, we have to begin now. We have to meet this moment as if our rights are at stake, because they are, as if our democracy is on the line, because it is. With that determination, we will win this election. So thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being part of this campaign. Thank you for putting your faith and trust in Joe and Kamala. You are the reason we're going to keep them in the White House.
Thank you.
Joe?
Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Biden. I'm Joe Biden's husband. We just finished meeting with small business owners here in Atlanta. Starting a small business is literally an act of hope, and we're seeing that kind of hope, that kind of energy everywhere we go. Jill and I, you know, we first wanted to thank you. You're the reason Kamala and I continue to prove the pundits wrong. Because of you, we're turning the country around. We inherited an economy on the brink. Because of you, we're turning it around. But there's a lot more to do. You know, look at what we've done so far. You helped us in 2020. Look at what you did in the midterms. Remember that red wave we saw coming? Well, it never happened because of you. What we did in 2023 and the special elections all over the country. Again, because of you. And with your help, we're going to do it again in November. We've got a lot more to do to take this country where I want to see it to go. I want to see it being. So much more we can do. And folks, the American people have a stark choice this election. That choice matters. Because the guy who's, well, I shouldn't say it, maybe it was a lousy president, has promised to be even worse president this time around. Look, before I go any further, let's think about this. We laid out what we want to do, and Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans are going to do. And what they're going to do is to ensure really endanger our national security. They're going to expend, you know, are they going to expand personal freedoms? Well, that's what we're going to do. They're going to do everything to not grow our economy. Literally, they have no platform. They're against everything, not for anything, except the things that are the wrong things. What they're running on, I'll tell you what they're running on. They're running backwards. Mm-hmm. It's about the future, not the past. But guess what? We won't let them win the past. We won't let them go back. Folks, we have come through pretty tough times. And I know we got a lot more to do. We had to stay off, we had to start off by vaccinating America. Trump stood flat-footed during that period of time before the pandemic. And when we're rebuilding America, we're bringing back jobs, fighting to lower costs for ordinary families. I know, at least at my kitchen table growing up, my dad didn't talk statistics. He talked about what we could do to help families, what was happening to the average family. And that's what I talk about, and that's what I want to talk about to the hardworking American families in America today. For example, why do credit card companies charge you late fees of $32? Well, guess what? I had the power to change that. Now you only have to pay $8. It may sound not like a big deal, but it adds up for working people. Look, I need you, though. We need you to help folks understand what's at stake and how we can finish the job and make things even better. No one thought we could beat the pharmaceutical companies, but damn it, we did. Instead of seniors paying $400 a month for insulin, they're now paying $35 because of what we did. And companies are still making significant profits. It only costs them $12 to make and package this. I'm going to lower insulin costs for $35 for everyone in America, not just seniors. And by the way, it saved $160 billion doing that. We gave Medicare the power to negotiate for drug prices. That's just what they did. It's not just saving seniors money, it's saving taxpayers money. Taxpayers' money. Finish the job means protecting and strengthening the Affordable Care Act. It used to be called Obamacare. We've stopped Republicans 50 times from trying to gut it and get rid of it. Not only that, we've lowered the cost of insurance by $800 a year for those families. And they're still after, but the Republicans, you saw, they're still after Social Security and Medicare. I'm not going to let that happen. You know, we're making real progress. But you know, one way not to go is the Trump way. Keeping Trump's tax cuts for the very wealthy and the biggest corporations is their only idea. I want to make billionaires pay their fair share, pay for priorities like child care, long-term care, and so much more. Believe me, billionaires are doing just fine. Finish the job means protecting your freedom. It means passing the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. Trump brags about having overturned Roe v. Wade, taking away a woman's right to choose, freedom to choose. Well, look at the chaos and cruelty this election, that decision is ripping. It's ripping. When you took away Roe v. Wade, it took away so much protection. Just recently, extremists in Alabama ripped away access to fertility treatments for couples desperately trying to have children. Beyond that, Trump wants to have a national ban on the right to choose, so there's no state in America where it can be safe. Where does this stop? I'll tell you where it stops. If you elect Kamala and give me a Congress that supports the right to choose, we will restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land everywhere again. We've made so much progress over the past 3 years, but finish the job making a contrast and a choice crystal clear. Time and again, Republicans show they're a party of chaos and division, especially in the House, refusing to accept the results of legitimate elections, seeking, as Trump says, to terminate, quote, terminate elements of the United States Constitution, embracing political violence, calling January 6th insurrectionists patriots, and promising to pardon them. Folks, we have to stay focused on what we have to do to win. Take nothing for granted. We've seen what these guys will do. We know what we have to do to win. Get voters to show up at the polls. We must keep the White House. We must keep the Senate. We must win back the House. We must win in state and local levels to protect our elections. So let's get to work. We've got to win this election the old-fashioned way, door to door, driving people to the polls, getting people to vote. So let's go. Go to www.joebiden.com/training. Thank you for all you're doing and all you're about to do. Let's remember who we are. We're the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity to get done when we work together. God bless you all and God protect our troops.
Thank you, Mr. President and First Lady Biden. Oh, so we have a lot of work ahead. We have a lot of work to do to win this year. And I just want to set a little bit of context on what's on the line and how you can get involved. So decades ago, if we wanted to talk to you, we could knock your door, we could speak to you on the 7 o'clock news, and then on your drive home from work, we could talk to you on the radio. Now, some folks have Ring cameras at their door. Not everyone has cable. Some folks sit and watch the news, others don't ever. And for others, what is the radio? Sometimes you listen, others are like, I haven't heard it in my entire lifetime, or it's a once a month kind of thing. So instead, we have to be scrappier, more creative, and more present than ever to get out the good word about this election, to empower supporters like you to talk to voters across the country about what's on the line for you, why you're voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and why they should do the same. A key part of our strategy is that we trust you. We trust that you know best how to share our message and your story and why this election matters so much to you, and have conversations around how this election matters to others. Now, sharing our stories, though, means that we meet people where they are. That might be at their door. It might be online. It might be talking directly to friends and family, or making calls to voters in your neighborhood or across state lines, or knocking on doors on the neighborhood a few precincts over. Building community to share your story our story wherever we are, and being visible is a key component of how we win and why March Month of Action is so important. One action you take might be the encouragement for a neighbor who doesn't know if they want to get involved to say something, to raise their hand, to do something, and to get on board. So we're starting with March this year, where we're excited to give you a peek in our month of action into our critical messaging and how you can have high impact conversations with voters everywhere, whether it's online or in person, on phones or on doors, in community halls or in living rooms. We are here to support your leadership and excited to have you come on board and join us at joebiden.com/training. It has never been more important for you to roll your sleeves up and join us. And I can't wait to see you at the training. Again, to sign up, please go to joebiden.com/training, and I'll see you there.